unpacking this order. It's a goddess tarot deck that I sell in my shop, anoldfriendstudio.com. And it made me think about how the last year or longer, there's been this trend going on TikTok of either Hecate or Lilith. Those are like the only two. Very rarely you'll hear Morgan. Mostly Hecate or Lilith you hear from everybody, whether it's a tarot reader or a practitioner. And they're amazing. They're amazing deities to work with, but they aren't the only ones. And it just so happened that a friend of mine sent me a video that the Blue Bondi had just posted, and it was about the same thing. And she was talking about Hecate. And I don't think that it I think it was an accident that everybody started doing this, right? I think a very popular influencer talked about that, either one of those or both of them, and everybody got on this train of Hecate and Lilith, or Hecate, however you want to call her. And I think that that's been like, it just won't stop. We're like in a snowball effect. But there are so many other goddesses that are amazing too, that are being completely overlooked. And I've been practicing my entire life. I'm 60 now. I think that it's really important for people to find a place in their craft where they trust their heart more than they do. And I get it if you're brand new, you don't want to make any mistakes, you're scared. I remember the first time I did a spell, it was terrifying. But here's the thing, what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for you. And working with just those two deities is not only ripping you off, but the spell work may not work if it's not somebody that you're supposed to be working with, because you are supposed to, whether you believe this or not, because I know the other big trend is that you cannot work with anybody that you weren't born in that tradition. That's horseshit. Okay. I've worked with Egyptian archetypes, I've worked with Celtic, Norse. I'm telling you, I've worked with voodoo. I've worked with all of them, and the only thing that you have to do that's most important is be respectful to the god or goddess that you're working with. And you should practice learning about them, and you should study them before you work with them. And there's just so many that you can choose from. I'm just showing you the major arcana of this deck. There are so many more to choose from. And I think that, and find the ones that you're drawn to and follow your heart. Now, with the Celtic is my favorite. And that's the one I always seem to fall back on. It's always the one, it was the one from the very beginning and the one I worked with first. And then I moved on to other different deities that I wanted to work with. And you need to do that. And you need to learn who you work best with. I don't agree with Blue Bondi, and it's not that I think that she's wrong. It's just it hasn't been my experience that if you work with one, you're going to get sick. That has never happened to me. But I have worked with some that I didn't feel connected to, and nothing happened with the spell. It didn't work. Now, I have a book that I use with all the girls that I mentor, and it's Practical Solitary Magic by Nancy B. Watson. And it tells you everything you need to know about everything that deals with magic. Whether you want to work with an archetype or you don't, it has everything in there that you could possibly learn. It has the timing, it has the elements, it has how you can connect and have a relationship with those elements. And I was taught that to progress and become the best alchemist that you can be is to work with all those different elements and archetypes. And that is what is going to make you great at what you do. Now, the biggest problem in witchcraft today is a lot of ego and a lot of trauma. and both need to be addressed. And this is probably very unpopular to a lot of people, but get your shit together. Get healed. If you want to do good magic, heal. That is one thing I could say with 100% confidence. And the other thing is it's great to be confident, but it's not to be arrogant. And that's going to get you in a whole lot of trouble. And if Hollywood doesn't teach you anything, it should be that. So being arrogant is not going to do you any good, but you have to be confident and believe in yourself and the gods that you're working with. So please pick up this book, A Practical Solitary Magic, again by Nancy B. Watson. It'll be the best investment you ever made. And it's the only book I use to mentor any of the girls that I have for the last 40 years. You won't be sorry. Follow your heart and don't let anybody gatekeep you from any of the different deities that are out there. If you're not Irish and you love Celtic mythology, then you're meant to work with those gods and goddesses. Don't let anybody tell you different, okay? Because you could have been Celtic in another life, and that's why you're drawn to them. And work with different ones. Don't, please, and you'll learn that in the book. Get the book. It'll teach you to work with all different kinds of archetypes, and it'll teach you how to connect and how to find them. And ask any of us that have been doing the craft for a while. And if they don't want to help you, then you don't want to learn from them anyway. Or if all they want is money, you don't want to learn from them either. I don't I don't charge. I don't think there's anything wrong with charging, but I also don't just mentor anybody. I have to know the person a while before I'll teach them the craft the way I was taught. But I've always answered anybody that has asked me a question, and I always will. And I think most of the practitioners on here will answer a question for you. So speak up. And for the love of all that's holy, give Lilith and Hecate a break and reach out to other gods and goddesses, because you're shorting yourself of some really great magical deities. With that, this is a little bit of the book. Check it out. Go buy it. It'll be the best investment you ever make. And if you don't think so, I'll buy it from you.